Some Republican lawmakers and one prominent Fox News host have been badgering Attorney General Jeff Sessions in regard to this supposed Uranium One scandal involving Hillary Clinton, and they want an investigation. And it's interesting because now the Attorney General, or I should say the Justice Department, has released a letter to House Judiciary Committee Chair Robert Goodlatte in regard to a potential investigation, a review for a potential investigation into Hillary Clinton and the Uranium One deal. Now, just to give you a quick context into the Uranium One deal, The Hill had published a report based on a book that was written by a Breitbart editor at large that accused Hillary Clinton of being part of this pay-to-play scheme where she granted, the allegations was that she granted Russia access to uranium in the United States. And every bit of investigation into this so far has proven that this is inaccurate, and I'll get into that later.
I kind of disagree with that.
Okay, well, the evidence shows that it is completely inaccurate and is not backed up by facts whatsoever. There were 9 federal agencies that approved the deal. There's no evidence whatsoever that Hillary Clinton was even aware of it. She didn't even have veto power or unilateral decision-making power when it came to that particular issue. The uranium that Russia was able to obtain through that deal is not allowed to leave the United States. They're able to use it here in the United States, and Russia has more uranium than the United States ever will have. And so, yeah, they already have weapons. Like this notion that, oh, the world has become more unsafe because Hillary Clinton signed on to this Uranium One deal. It's just inaccurate. The facts don't bear that out whatsoever.
Well, look, now, okay. So if you say that, I acknowledge everything you say except for one important distinction, which is the Clinton Foundation did get a lot of money from these same people who helped this deal go through. And Bill Clinton did go and get paid personally hundreds of thousands of dollars in Russia right around the same time. Does that create at least an appearance of a conflict of interest?
Of course it does, yes.
Did Hillary Clinton have potentially have a role to play? Did she unilaterally make the decision? No, Anna's absolutely right. She did not unilaterally make the decision. Do we have any evidence that she wrote a memo saying, hey, I got paid, make sure this deal goes through? No, there's no evidence of that, right? But you have her foundation and her husband getting paid by these guys at the same time that she is part of an approval process that happens to go through. It's a terrible, terrible idea to go get paid at the same time as this deal is going through, because even if you didn't have anything to do with it, it certainly
really
looks like that.
Right.
So there is evidence publicly that they took money and then Hillary Clinton helped to approve the deal. So I think that if you wanted to investigate it back then, I think it would have been a perfectly legitimate investigation and you might have found further evidence. To investigate it now, years later, after they're no longer in power, and because Donald Trump has specifically asked for a political investigation, is a completely different story and completely outrageous.
So I just want to be clear about one thing before we move forward, because the burden of proof that we use for Trump and potential Russian collusion is a very high burden of proof, and I believe that's fair. But when it comes to Hillary Clinton, it seems like we don't utilize the same burden of proof. She did not personally approve anything. There's no evidence that she personally approved anything. There isn't even any evidence that she was aware of the deal. Now, I agree with you that money and that corruption is a bad look, and it's a bad look on a number of issues, and I think that's ultimately what led to her losing the election. She's so damn corrupt. But again, to say that she personally played a role in that decision making, we don't have the evidence for that.
And I didn't say that.
What? Well, you said played a role in the decision making.
No, this State Department absolutely positively played a role in that decision. Now, it might be that the Secretary of State was clueless and was not involved in that decision. Or it might be that she was completely involved. No one knows. I mean, so would I have investigated it at the time? Goddamn right I would have investigated it. I would have said, wait, your husband just took hundreds of thousands of dollars from the guys who would like to make this deal happen and put it in his pocket, in other words, your pocket. And then they gave money to your foundation on top while you're part of the process that approves this deal. No, I'd like to investigate that and find out if you had a role to play, okay? But this is 6, 7 years later. They're not in office, they lost. So this is nothing but a political scheme by Trump to try to do diversion tactics. So you don't have to worry about the content of that long ago deal. So it's obvious. Trump says in public, it's the saddest thing that I can't interfere with the Justice Department. He, in public just 10 days ago, said that Jeff Sessions and the Justice Department, it's very discouraging that they're not going after Hillary Clinton. So if you think that it's problematic that Hillary Clinton might have been involved in that deal, I agree with you. But then you should be way more worried that Donald Trump is clearly saying, do a political retribution, and I want to interfere with the Justice Department. I'm saying it in public. With Hillary Clinton, you don't have enough evidence. With Trump, he gives you the evidence. He says, do a political investigation of Hillary Clinton because there's a special counsel against me, so I want a special counsel against her.
Yeah,
he admits it.
Yeah, I want a distraction strategy, and here it is. So. And look, it drives me absolutely insane. Hillary's not the president, okay? I don't care about Hillary. Hillary is the most irrelevant person. The only time Hillary is relevant is when she's trying to play a role in US politics again. But right now, she's completely irrelevant. You are the president of the United States. You are accused of collusion with Russia. And in my opinion, more importantly, having some shady financial dealings with Russia that could be playing a role in your policy-making decisions that could actually undermine our democracy and the best interests of the American people. That matters to me way more than some deal that Hillary Clinton may or may not have known about from years ago. Okay, regarding uranium that never left the United States. All right, so let's talk about what Jeff Sessions is doing. The Attorney General and the Justice Department, yes, it's part of the executive branch. They are not supposed to be influenced by the president, okay? But it appears that he is not only being influenced by the president, he's being influenced by Robert Goodlatte, again, the House Judiciary Committee chair. They want an investigation. And then now, more importantly, Fox News host Jeanine Pirro, whatever her name is, ranting and raving about this Uranium One deal on Fox News because, hey, let's do whatever we can to distract from the fact that we have a crooked person as the president of the United States. Apparently, Jeanine Pirro had met with Trump personally and urged this investigation to happen. If you are unclear of what Pirro's tone is, take a look at this video.
Obama and the Clintons sold us out. Our uranium, and with it, the security of our nation. Follow me. They lied to us. They said there was nothing to worry about, that the sale of 20% of America's uranium to our enemy, Russia, wasn't really a problem. Jeff Sessions needs to immediately release the informant from the non-disclosure agreement. Number 2, Andrew McCabe needs to be fired as number 2 in the FBI. And number 3, Robert Mueller, instead of heading an investigation into determining whether Donald Trump colluded with Russia, should be the target of an investigation for his role in covering up the extortion scheme that allowed Russia to access America's uranium. You wrote a letter to Jeff Sessions and Rod Rosenstein, and I'm furious with Rosenstein. I mean, this guy appoints Mueller when he knows that Mueller was on the Uranium One deal. He knows Mueller's friends with Comey. Rosenstein was on the Uranium One prosecution, the underlying case, and they're dancing with the devil right now. And I'm not even talking about the criminality and money to the Clintons and their so-called charitable foundation that accompanied the sale of our uranium to Russia. Hillary should not get a free pass because she lost an election. Her reign was one of bold, brazen, in-your-face pay-to-play corruption. It's time to stop this psychopath. Why are they dragging their feet? Why are they not demanding that Mueller pull back? What are they afraid of? Attorney General Jeff Sessions must open a new federal criminal investigation into Hillary Rodham Clinton, impanel a grand jury immediately, and void the false Clinton immunity deals. Easily done since each one has been violated.
Oh God, man. That was like nails to a chalkboard.
Man, how the mighty have fallen. Now we have the President of the United States of America, an office that people used to respect, getting orders from this two-bit clown. She was in the Oval Office, inside the White House, telling Trump to do this investigation. That circus clown And I'll tell you what is going on, okay? And she goes, time to stop the psychopath. I assume that she's not talking about herself, but she should be.
Yeah.
Time to stop Hillary Clinton? No, we're past that time. You already stopped her in 2016. So what do you mean, stop her from doing what? She's walking around in the woods. This has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. One, it's a distraction. Number two, as she said over and over there, well, we have to get Robert Mueller out because he was kind of involved in this thing. You don't know what he was involved or not involved in. In other words, you want to get Robert Mueller out because he's investigating Donald Trump.
Right.
This is an obvious obstruction of justice play. You're doing it right in front of everybody.
I think the person who looks weakest and the most pathetic is Attorney General Jeff Sessions, especially considering the verbal beating that he received by Trump because he recused himself after some of these revelations regarding Russia and the meetings that he had with Kislyak. So now, in response to all of this stuff, Jeff Sessions has directed senior federal prosecutors to evaluate the lawmakers' request for investigations into a number of matters related to Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, the Uranium One sale, and former FBI Director James Comey's leaks about his conversations with President Trump. Now, to be clear, he has not launched an investigation. He is saying that he has directed federal prosecutors to evaluate whether or not an investigation can move forward. And based on the lack of evidence in regard to this Uranium One deal and the lack of evidence reinforcing these conspiracy theories about it, it's unlikely that the investigation is going to happen. They don't have the evidence to move forward with an investigation. Mark my words, you will see that play out the way I just said.
Well, I hope you're right, but so two things about it. I'll tell you who's definitely guilty and who the jury's out on. The Republicans in Congress, every once in a while, there'll be a Jeff Flake and a Bob Corker that comes out and seems to hold Trump accountable. No, it's just words. But the Republicans in Congress just asked the Justice Department to launch a political strike back move and completely taint our Justice Department and not actually seek justice, but turn it into a political witch hunt. So that in the case of Trump, there's actually evidence and they're collecting that evidence. In the case of Hillary, they're almost admitting, yeah, we're trying to do a witch hunt. We're trying to get someone who's not relevant anymore because we care about political strike back. So the Republicans in Congress are the worst. The jury's in on that. They've specifically requested this. Now, as far as Sessions and the Justice Department, that jury's out. This is them saying, okay, we will see if we will do that investigation. So don't conclude yet that Sessions is dirty and is definitely going to do it. If they do the investigation and Sessions does not recuse himself, either one of those things, both of those things, terrible. And then the jury will be in on Sessions. But if they look at it and go, there's nothing to investigate, well then, okay, then they did the right thing. So we'll see. Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.